One of the things that Meghan Markle likes to do is really confuse the audience, you know. If you think about it, she wants the sort of perpetual youth. Nothing wrong with that. We'd all like that, particularly if we're selling a brand or trying to put our very best foot forward, as it were. But the problem is, when everybody knows your age, there lies the problem. It's a little bit like, you know, for instance, you've got Goldie Hawn, looks terrific at 80, but Goldie knows she couldn't play the young girl anymore inside a movie because everybody remembers Goldie Hawn way back from Laughing and all of that. So people will go, how old is she? This is the problem now that you've got with Meghan. And the biggest problem really that's unfolded on herself is the fact that she made herself, well, look possibly the worst she's ever been. But behind the scenes, from this ongoing fight, this battle, this catastrophe, some people might say, what should have been the very best, in fact, what William Morris Endeavour have pulled out the bag for a very difficult client, some might also suggest, in the fact that a former royal as Meghan Markle suddenly landed a glossy front cover. And this was supposed to be the big thing, the big return, everything, everybody's going to look at her. This was banging it back to you just ahead of a very final outing for Netflix and With Love Meghan. What's happened is, well, behind the scenes, staff are not allowed to even mention this. If she asks an opinion on this, you have to be very, very careful around the corner. You see, as I mentioned the other day, which of course, you know, many people find strange to say the least, Meghan likes to keep her sort of title, her ruling, her status, and that's very, very important to her, even though she claims it's not. As I told you, both her and Prince Harry truly believe in the fullness of time they will ridiculously be called back to the British monarchy, and consequently, you know, the world will bask in their return, simply because it's who they are, right? But you see, where she's gone wrong, and this is where she's not very bright in the world of celebrity. Netflix have done this with her, Spotify have done this with her, and now Harper's Bazaar have done exactly the same thing. You know the old saying, give them enough rope? Well, as ever, let me explain. Morning chums, nice to see you. Thank you so much as ever for your time today. Welcome one and all brand new subscribers. As ever, lovely to have your company here on a chilly day in the very heart of London. I don't know about you, sometimes when you get out and about, it's a lot better to get out, you know. But the thing is, it's hard, isn't it? And I was reading this, and I know I'm going off kilter, but it's lovely to talk to you. I was reading this about the warm spaces and, you know, where you somewhere to go if you're on your own or elderly and you want to save your heating bill, or any age really, right? And the bottom line is, it's all very well if you can get there, isn't it? What about those that aren't able to get out? And I think there should be a lot more done for that, the mobility, you know, whether if you've got a car, maybe check in on somebody. Could you get them there? Is it a possibility? Think about others is what I'm often saying. I know it sounds a bit corny, but it's true. You should think, because I was at a place the other day and they had like a warm space knitting group. And I thought it was really nice, but I thought, what if you can't get there, you know? Always have to think, don't you? Yes. Let's get back, of course, to your royal story of the day. Yeah, this should have been the big thing, right? Meghan Markle, sorry, we haven't had a wave where, but this should have been the big thing because, of course, Meghan Markle being the queen of Harper's. And what's really interesting, as I've said, you know, when you dissect it further and further and further away, Meghan Markle really should not be allowed to do interviews simply because she picks all of her own questions, right? So you never, the problem that you need when you're doing a celebrity interview is the wow factor line. It doesn't matter what it is, you know. I remember interviewing Sylvester Stallone, and he said his dream was to appear in sort of a musical film, and he would have loved to have starred opposite Barbara Streisand. And I thought, that's it, that's the one, because nobody would know that about the wonderful Sylvester. Great fun guy, by the way. Lovely, lovely, lovely man. Not at all like Rambo, you know what I'm saying? But what's interesting is with Meghan, you never get anything. It's always about authenticity, the real me, people getting to know the real me, scratch the surface, etc. And as you can imagine, this is the problem now that's engulfing her and the team and the people around her. Meghan's not happy. This is because the makeup-free picture, which, can we just debunk this for a minute, right? If you go in the credits, there's a makeup artist. Meghan Markle is slathered, as we say in the north, in makeup. You can see the lip colour. I mean, you know, whether it's tinted in the colouring of the pictures, well, you can see what's really gone on, right? She's not doing the new picture thing, you know, and this is really copied again from Pamela Anderson, from Kim Kardashian, many other celebrities, even over here, the Breakfast TV host Susanna Reid. There was a thing of it, oh, you know, no makeup selfie, look at me, I still look terrific even with no makeup, but with the right lighting, with the right background, and of course, natural mascara, tinted moisturizer, all of the things. I know all the tricks these people do. You can look okay. Not in this instance, right? Apparently, the head honchos of that particular magazine were underwhelmed, to say the least. And this is a big problem, right? Because normally when you put a magazine cover out like that, particularly at this time of year, Christmas is the time when most people buy a magazine, particularly a glossy, got a little bit more time on their hands. They might leave it lying around the house at Christmas. You know, you watch it and listen to it and all that sort of stuff, right? Interesting on that side. And apparently they thought they were going to get some terrific pictures. What they got was copycat pictures of things like Victoria Beckham, Princess Diana. And just to clear and be, you know, absolute clarity on this was nothing to do with Harper's Bazaar. She controlled the whole footage, the editorial people, whatever. They basically, they know, right, just to let you know, they know what they're getting with Meghan Markle. They know they're going to get a lot of clicks, a lot of interest, and then the pull down. But according to an excellent source who's working in that particular background, shall we say, just to be careful, the thing is they just were stunned at this picture. This is the front cover picture. Now, the more stunned that they were was the fact that Meghan liked this picture, said it transmitted exactly the image that she was going for. Serious entrepreneur, bare-faced makeup, scraped back hair. This wasn't the giggly actress, you know, smoky-eyed person that everybody knew. She wanted, again, to reinvent herself. It's only now that the backlash has hit, and Meghan's now been accused online, of which she reads every single phase of this, of being looking like she's over 50, the worst she's ever looked, it's a bad look, the image is terrible, etc. And on top of that, what's really escalated, and this is the problem, because whatever you do, and I've often said this, chums, with people, you can never get it right. They will always come back, it's your fault, you've got it wrong, and what are you doing? What's really happened now is that Meghan 100% loathes this look, whatever she would say. The imagery is just not right. It's not selling a lifestyle brand. She looks far better, for instance, on the posters for her Netflix show. So why didn't you just copy an imagery like that? But this was new Meghan's directive. What she hated, of course, which has now got out, is the fact that everybody has to announce her as Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. She insisted on Meghan, Duchess of Sussex on the front cover. They wanted something a little bit more crispy, sort of Christmassy, you know, like Meghan Sparkle or Meghan Markle Sparkles. That was the idea. She's put to bed the Markle name, doesn't want that. Now, if this is going to get any further, and this is the problem about burying and killing off your own brand, and this is exactly what Meghan's done in one fell swoop. Anybody else looking to book Meghan Markle now will either come up with their own concept, of which she will have to adhere to, because if not, they're not going to book her, because now this gets around the fashion industry of basically, we gave the client the control, this is what we got back. And consequently, everybody who's now involved in that shoot can honestly say, yeah, they worked with her and there's a notoriety attached to that whole thing, but it's not your best work. And Meghan knows now that she doesn't look terrific. As I said, though, Prince Harry has got one of the prints now very much framed, because apparently he thinks she looks absolutely wonderful. He has to say that he's living with a woman whose temper is very, very frayed, as one can imagine. So Harper's, or anybody else, Vogue, or any other beauty brand that was now considering hooking up with Meghan, truly will be looking at this and thinking, if she can do this to herself, it would take a lot of work to convince her into our way of thinking. And in one fell swoop, as I've said, Meghan's wiped off any opportunity for beauty, as she calls it. Anybody else agree? Neil Sean in the very heart of Kensington.